Okay, we're back. This time we're going to look at how to take our data and that's made in a C code and put it in a file, like a text file, so we can use it later. We don't just want to print to the console all the time. Sometimes we want to take a lot of times we want to take our data and do some processing on it later. And that's what we're going to do here. We got our prime code example. Remember last time we made a function that just did everything and called it here. Now we're going to do print that prime array to a file. And we're going to do all that in a function. So again, we'll make it another void. I'll just call it print array. And we've got to give it an array. This time we'll just call it array x. And then we'll give it a size. Now our size is going to be n. We didn't have to do this, but we'll see here in a second. So I don't like something here. Oh, I gotta say what it is. Yeah, it's an int array int. So let's say print integer array, and then the size is also still an int. Now for this code, we could just ignore size because n is a global variable. But let's do that anyways. And let's build this. Okay, it likes it. Okay, now let's actually print this. Let's actually make this. Void print int array. Well, actually, just copy all this. You just copy, and then and it returns nothing. If it returns, like if you want a placeholder, you could do, and it's an N or a double, you could say return 1 or return 1.2, and then build it, and then everything will be good, and then you just have to remember to actually program it. So let's start declaring our variables. Well, since it's an integer, it's a 1D integer, we need to do a for loop through it. So we need an index, we'll call that I. We need a file variable. So file variable, and this is how you do your file variables. Use that, and then the name of the file variable. We'll call that output. Then you have to actually open your output file. So our file variable has to equal, and you need a function to open our file. So that is the f open function. So f open. Then we have to actually see, it says it's looking for a file name. So we actually give it a file name, we put that in quotes. You can call it anything. You can call it output.text, output.dat. We'll just call it primes.dat. Or no, let's do primes.text. And however, what mode is it going to be in? We're going to write to this file. You can write, read, or amend. So write, W for write. And at the end, you should always close any file you open. Fclose. So use that with the fclose command. So you fclose and then give it the file variable, not the, which was the output. Nope. Aha. Good. So you'll see this sometimes if you go from, like, say, Linux or Apple to Visual Studio. You'll see this warning here, and it's telling you it wants to use this fopen_s, which is like a safe thing, but we have to actually get rid of that. because this is only applicable to Visual Studio. So you could go ahead and use that if you're just doing everything in Visual Studio. But if you want your code to be more portable, your source code to be more portable, well, then you have to change that. So project. So you go to do that, you project, and it says here this use cert secure no warnings. That we're going to put that string of text into our pre-compilers here. So you get this window here. Go to C, processor, the C++, processing definitions. So you go ahead and declare, hit that, you want to edit that. And you're going to put in the end here, you're going to put this code right here, this underscore, CRT. Oh, it didn't do it. CRT. Underscore secure underscore no. So it's going to just turn these warnings off. So allow you to compile this code. And if I spelled everything right, hit OK, hit apply. So let's go through that again. So, okay. So let's debug it. No, let's build it. Build solution. Okay, good. That went away. We have a warning here about I since we haven't used it yet, but that's has nothing to do with the compiling. It compiled just fine. So let's go over that again. Project, and then over here, Prime Finder, which is the name of this project, properties, and it'll give you this menu here. You go to the C/C++ pre-processor, hit that. Process definition, preprocessor definitions, hit this little arrow, edit, all the way at the end of the list, and then you put this bit of text here. And that's all there's to it. And of course hit OK or apply. Okay, so we're good. Now we actually can, let's print to the file. So we've opened the file, and then we gave it a name, and we closed the file. Didn't do anything, right? We didn't actually print anything to our file. So let's go ahead and do that. So we used the printf statement. Okay. So we have for I equals 0, I is less than the size, I plus plus, f print f. So when we print to the console, it's just printf. When we print to a file, it's fprintf, file printf. We got to give, and you see it's kind of given us our arguments here that we put in here. So the first argument is, since we're not printing the console, where are we printing? Well, we're printing to a file. Which file? We're printing to this output file that we've opened. What are we printing? Well, we're going to print two things. So let's see. We're going to print our prime number and the ith prime number. So this will be which prime number we found. Then this will be the actual prime number, and then we want a new line at the end of that. So what do we want? For the first one, we want I plus 1, because I starts from 0, and then we want x of I. So it takes this array, it says the first spot, the second spot, the third spot, and then what's actually there. And it'll be in this primes.tab text or output. You could, whatever you want to name this. Let's build that. And there you go. And you could take this print in array function and use it anywhere now. Like it's highly portable in your next code. You can copy and paste it in there just fine. Everything worked. We don't even have any warnings. That's great. So let's actually use this. So we find the prime numbers. Let's get another. Well, we can just use I again, right? We only used I here. So we're going to say I equals n, and then we're going to actually use the array. So print array. That's a function. Which array we're printing? We're printing the prime array. What's the size of our array? It's I. Okay. So again, the inputs don't have to match the names here. Like it's going to take this prime array and put it in term and then name it X. It's gonna change it to X. Let's get this I and make that the size. Okay. Yep. So we've done that. It runs it twice. I think that's because of my antivirus. It's running with some kind of safe mode, and then boom, it ran. So where did it actually put our file? So let's go. Where does everything save as? Save as. So it's in my documents. The C codes. Okay, let's go look in there. So you just go to the file where it's at. So here's my project file, and if you're using Visual Studio, it's going to probably be in. There we go. We go into the file. So here's our project folder. We have a debug menu, which has the executable in it. We have a folder that has the name of our project. There's our source code, or there's our source code. This is the pre-compiled. Don't worry about this. This is the source code you want. Here's our text. Oh, and it'll have a million entries in it. I should have made that a little smaller. But here you go. First prime number is 2. The second one is 3, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Let's go all the way to the bottom. At least it's that. So that's all there is to it. So things to remember when you print is you need to make a file variable. You need to open the file. You need to give the file with the fopen command. You need to give it a name, and then you have to get what mode you are. So different modes are write, which is this, read, which is R, amend, which is A, and then every time you open a file, you better close that file somewhere, because if you have a bunch of files open in your code, it's going to slow things down, and it might not write everything if you don't close it at the end. It might cut off a lot of the data at the end. And then to actually print to a file, instead of printf, it's fprintf. You give it the file variable. Then you can just treat it like you're printing to the console here. The same specifiers. These are specifiers for integers, and then what integers you're putting there, and that's it. All right. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.